So my name is Kyle Welsby at HalfCube on Twitter. I'm a software engineer working in Node, Ruby and JavaScript. My talk today is about passwords, well, password with a capital P. It's a talk which I kind of stole from someone at a different conference I went to, so I'm just putting it out there. I did put it on a Twitter saying who I stole it from, but I'm going to go ahead and say that passwords absolutely suck. They are useless for humans in many ways, and it's just a way to keep people and other machines out of our code and accounts. The problem we have is we are humans, we forget things, we're lazy, and we like memes. So a password isn't useful in this case. So I wanted to give a very quick example of where we'd use a password in the world today. We've got pusher.com, and I want to create myself a nice free account. So I'd whack in my email address, punch in a password, and create an account, and I'm in. And that would be pretty good for many people. But several years later on, I've completely forgotten my password for Pusher, and now I'm stuck. I'm logged out and stuck out, and so is everyone else. But fortunately, Pusher knew that I forgot my password. I'll just look very closely there. There's, have you forgot your passwords? Oh, cool. I'm gonna hit that button, hit the forgotten password link. I'm being told to check my email account by the site. So I'll go and check my email. Checks the email, and there's a link in there to click the reset. So I'll click that link, and I'm back onto this site, and I need to choose a new password in this case. So I'm going to go for a very simple, special password. In some cases, you may need to pass a certain test, so I'm going to put a 1 in it, or in some cases, a ring. So the password test, we have to pass a test each and every time we make a password for different providers. I'm going to give a very real-life example for a very popular manufacturer around the world. You can see very closely here, there is a test. The password must contain 8 or more characters, upper and lower case letters, and at least 1 number. And there's a strength test as well to make sure that you are fit and healthy. So we're going to go ahead and choose a very generic password, which many people around the world would use because we're even being told it all over the place and it's easy to remember. Password. Cool. We have managed to satisfy one of the tests, but we still have 2 more tests to satisfy. So we've got to capitalize that P. There we go. We've got the upper and lower case sorted out, and we've got to smack a 1 on it. Cool. We now have a password which passes all the tests, and this product would probably allow us to sign up with this exact password. But it's telling us that password is easy to be guessed. So we'll try again and give it something which shouldn't be too easy to guess. Well, as a human, I think. Change me 1. No, I'm still weak. Let's try something a bit more personal to me. My doggo 1. Cool, sweet. We've now got a genuine password which is personal to me. I can remember it, and it's got certain uppercase letters in there and a number. And it's saying that I'm not as strong as I really want to be. It's also thinking it knows that this password is being used elsewhere. Avoid using the passwords that you have used with other websites. Ooh, has it been snooping and known that I use this password elsewhere? And how can I read people's minds to be able to guess that you can guess my password? Not a mind reader. So we're going to go and Hadouken this and give it a password which is 64 characters long with uppercase, lowercase symbols, and all the things to make a strong password, because that's what we want to do as software engineers. So let's throw in the 64 character password which has been generated for us, and we've passed all the tests. But it still says that we are weak in strength, and now we have another test to pass, which wasn't in the initial. That's a secure password, right? But now we have a new test, which wasn't obvious to us. You can already see the frustration of many users at this point, that 1, they can't choose a password which they want to use, and because they have to pass this test, and 2, even if they do choose a password which is meant to be strong, they're limited by a certain amount of characters, which again has a certain connotation with some developers out there. So we've got to satisfy this test because we are developers. Oh yeah, got to emphasize that again. And make it a 32 character long password. We have now made ourselves super strong. We can now lift this site off ourselves and continue on and sign up for an Apple ID account. I wouldn't recommend it. Some of you out there will probably use a password manager, 1Password, LastPass, or the Dash. Now, I use it personally because I have hundreds of accounts out there which will require a unique password, and I was a point of time in my history where I'd use the same 8 characters for a lot of providers. But as you know, one breach here and that password is now available to the entire world, and they can try and use that password against you in different providers. So now I generate a lot of unique passwords. But I have one question. Is this mum-proof? And does it pass the mum test? My mum doesn't use a password manager. My mum has 4 different passwords. Well, I say 2 different passwords, but some of them have uppercase letters and lowercase and number on the end of them. But it's usually the same password, which you'll use everywhere. So a password manager isn't for everyone. And a long password which you can't remember, again, isn't for everyone. So what do? We just have to ask ourselves as developers and product providers, what is our main goal here when it comes to passwords? Oh, we just want to authenticate the right person. And you have to remember, person, they're human. They're not computers. We are fickle and we forget things and we're lazy. So we just need to have a simple way to authenticate. So as developers, actually, how can we fix this? Well, I've got a few answers here, and there's probably some coming down the line in the internet in time. So here's my little guide and steps to improve our products to make them user-friendly and remove the password for good. Well, we have to ask ourselves, do we need an account? We ask the users want to use a service, just let them use a service. Simple. We don't need to. We have examples out there. We book a flight with budget airlines. They don't ask us to log in before checking a flight. We can go right away through the basket and get ourselves onto a flight with very minimal amount of information. We get a booking code and a surname, and we're in. Looking at you, OTB out there. And well, I've got step 2. Allow the user to sign up later. They want the service, let them use the service, ask for email later. We have a lot of applications on our phone where we can start using the application and get real good fun and use out of it. And then, oh, we want to save our progress? Sweet. Enter in your email here, and there we go. It now has my identity. It can link all that good information which I've provided it to me. And now I can find a way to re-authenticate, which brings me on to long list sessions. Many of you will have applications out there where you've logged in once and you're not logged in for a week, a month, even a year. You're not asked to log into your Gmail every single time you open up the application. Long list sessions. Many of us will do this, and I highly recommend we still continue doing this. Delegated authentication. So we have, we're not experts in security. We're not cryptographers, but there are providers out there who have big teams to do it. Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, AOL. They will have dedicated people who will be doing security for us. But if we don't want to go through those, we have passwordless authentication and touch and face ID, which I won't cover on today, but I will cover passwordless authentication via email. And I do have a video here, which should play, yes, of Monzo, a challenger bank, and I'm logging into my account here. It's asking me for my email account. I can give it that. Yep, and now it's asking me to check my email address. So I open up the email app. Well, I'm a zero inboxer, so that's good. I check my email, and it's giving me, tap the button below to log into your Monzo account. I'm not having to give it a password or log in anything. So when I click this button, I'm working with a video here, so there we go. I am authenticated into my bank application without no password, and there I go. That was within 41 seconds. I was able to authenticate into my bank without a password. But then some of you are questioning, we need to secure our primary email accounts. Because with all of this, with the reset passwords flow, or even a passwordless authentication, which I highly recommend you take up on your applications, email is the single vulnerability in all of our lives right now, and it's not going away. So as developers, we can still use this primary method as a way to remove passwords from our sites. Just follow the magic link, and we'll be authenticated. So ways how you can sell this to your bosses, your managers, or even your customers is it's less complicated for users. We've seen the example there. They were able to log in within seconds without having to put in a digit, memorize, and count which number it was for your password 3 years ago. It's better conversion. We're not asking them to do a lot of effort to get in and to use a product. For example, a sports website which you can buy clothes off. You would put things in your basket, and at the very end, you'd be asked to maybe create an account, maybe. So you can convert people at the very last when they're committed. And it's more secure. Again, we're not the security experts. Leave it to the big guys who can do security and allow us to be secure for our users. If our users type in passwords repetitively, they are prone to phishing attacks, and this is very, very bad. There's a malicious site which seems legit could be the next person who's lost their entire digital life. So we can make the internet just a little bit more secure by removing passwords. Thank you.